Hey, howdy, hey. How's it going? Let's play.
We going? We live?
Yeah, we're live.
No, we're live. Well, I mean, we're not live. We're recording. Someone else is going to listen to this later, and that means it's not live.
No, I'm living. I'm live. I'm live most of the time.
I'm also live. I was live today, all day. I did so many errands. I did so many errands yesterday and today.
Yeah, and it's also super cold outside, so I'm sure going in and out of places and
It was
being...
miserable. Then it was like really bright outside today because there was no clouds. And my glasses, I have transition lenses on my glasses because I'm a loser. And
Well, why?
Because I don't want to have two pairs of glasses. And I still have two pairs of glasses. I have sunglasses and regular glasses.
So having transition lenses makes you a loser because your glasses all of a sudden become sunglasses?
I don't know. Something about that seems a little weird to me.
Now, I'll say this. It is a little off-putting seeing someone that has that are obvious, like,
regular glasses.
seeing glasses, and they all of a sudden have a tint to them. You're
like, are you Neo?
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what? It's like, because
Did we just get out of the Matrix?
Because the frames in the part that goes over your ears, it's just too thin.
It doesn't look right.
It does. Yeah, it's like, how are those tiny frames holding up all that tint? It's like, that's what it looks like.
It's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I was going in and out of stores today with a mask on, of course, because it's Corona time and you got to wear a mask. And Tennessee and Ohio are the two places on the earth that have the highest number of new infections.
Really?
Yes, they had to use
I've not seen the metric.
They had to use a new color.
They just invented a new color for it?
No, they had to attribute a color because normally it's like blue is the least, and then into green, and then into yellow, and then into orange, and then into red, and like red's the worst. Well, we surpassed the worst because we're the best, and so they had to use like a pale purple color, which did not match. Like they needed a more. I think it should have just been black.
Yeah, like a more serious color.
Just like a very morose, like a gray or a black. That would have been very serious looking. But anyway, I was out in it today, basically risking my life to buy Christmas presents for my friends and family. I went to the bookstore, bought some books. I bought an awful candle, which apparently you don't think it smells terrible.
It doesn't. It doesn't smell that bad.
I think it smells pretty bad.
I mean, if you don't like the way candles smell, I mean, like most candles that smell sweet, like cinnamon rolls or whatever, those kind of make me like sick to my stomach because I feel like it...
Too much of that, yeah.
Yeah, it fills the room and you're like, I'm like swimming in this funk. But like the things that smell clean, those that really don't bother me just because it's like, it's clean in here, I guess.
I think the candle that's the most slept on is the fresh laundry candle.
That's a good one.
Like fresh linens, like it smells like cotton. It smells like your mom's doing laundry. It's nice. That's what it smells like.
Yeah, it's always nice when your mom does your laundry. Yeah.
Yeah. It smells like a warm, nice, comforting home. That's what it smells like.
Gotcha.
That's good. That's a good fragrance.
Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with your mom doing your laundry if she still does, but also...
Anyway, about this candle. So, the reason I bought a candle is because we do it's like the white elephant Christmas thing.
Dirty Santa.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call it, Filthy Kringle.
Filthy Kringle. Yeah, so we do a Filthy Kringle. And we usually like draw straws or youngest to oldest, oldest to youngest, whatever. But everybody brings one gift. There's a gift per person so that everybody gets a gift. And then we go down the list and you have the option to open a new gift that hasn't been opened yet or steal the person before you's gift. And then that guy, if he gets his gift stolen, he has no gift. He has to open a new gift from under the tree.
Yeah, standard white elephant.
Yeah. Very basic. And then I think each gift can be stolen twice or something.
Before it's dead, yeah.
Before it's, like locked in. So, the very first time we ever did this, there was this awful smelling candle that someone brought. I think they brought it genuinely, like, this will be a nice gift. And it's just this terrible candle.
It's just like an ass candle.
Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. And it was supposed to be like, Christmas tree. It's supposed to be like pine, like the smell of pine. And they just missed the mark a lot, and it just smelled like death, mostly.
Ew. I just had an awesome idea for a candle.
Care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, man. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's candle's called John Wick, and it smells like gunmetal.
Mmm.
What do you think?
That's pretty good.
Really?
It's pretty good.
It just hit me.
They're pretty good. Write it down.
Someone
who listens.
It's been written down digitally.
Someone who listens to the podcast, all two of you. I want you. I want you.
Which will be us later.
Yeah, basically. Future me, heed my warning. No. So, this candle that smelled so bad, it got re-gifted the next year, and then re-gifted the next year,
so it's like
and
a
then
running
re-gifted, and it's like a running joke now. But I got it, and then we didn't have power for like a week and a half because of the tornadoes.
Oh yeah.
And I burned the candle so I could see what I was doing in the kitchen.
You burned that in our home?
Yes.
And
I had no choice.
But I don't remember this. So it must not, like I'm saying, it must not have been that bad.
No, I think that the candle had a very mild kind of pine needle fragrance, but it was like opening the lid of the candle and smelling the wax itself. It was
like
just
punching you in the face.
Oh my god, it was so rough. But anyway, I burned that candle, and so I had to go get a replacement. And so Mari recommended that I go to Walmart and just go find the cheapest candles, like the bad ones. And all the bad ones didn't smell that bad.
So you got a more expensive, terrible smelling candle.
It was like $12.
Yes, I mean, like, listen, I'm not in the candle game. I don't know how expensive candles can get. I'm sure they get extravagant, but
dude, let's Google. What? Get on the computer. Google. Well, that Gwyneth Paltrow candle. That was
oh
like.
My God,
it was in
Gwyneth Paltrow. Anything is ridiculously expensive because
Yeah.
it's got her ego attached to it. So
yes,
yeah,
it does.
It's worth its weight in.
I wish my ego would just instantly make stuff more expensive.
It does with your taste.
Yeah, money can't buy taste though.
Yeah,
you ever seen rich people with just like ugly?
Yes,
just ugly
I've
stuff.
Been, been in their homes. Yes.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah,
awful.
and you're like, ugh, what are you thinking, man? Or madam.
Mm-hmm.
Usually,
the worst is when rich people with bad taste buy like a really nice old home that's like, the inside of the home's full of
and then they change it.
And then they change it and they ruin it. It looks like, I saw this picture recently. It was this like beautiful old home from the early 1900s, like 1915, 1925, like somewhere in that range. And everything is this nice dark, like chestnut or whatever, and it's stained very dark hardwood floors, warm fireplace, cast iron. Like it was nice and dark and warm and inviting. Like a beautiful, rich hardwood floor with like a nice oriental rug on top, very classy. Yeah. And so they showed the before and after pictures. In the after pictures, it looks like one of those bullshit walk-in clinics. It's so...
They made it like sterile.
It's so gross and like, ugh. It's so sterile.
I don't know, man. I like some modern-looking homes, but like
this one,
it's got to have a vibe to it,
No, this one was just... It was like... Okay, imagine... I'm going to make you think. Pick a major city.
Got it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, pick a major city. Now go to the outskirts of that city. Not the suburbs, beyond the suburbs.
Okay.
To where they're doing the bullshit cookie cutter, every subdivision and every house looks the exact same. Go in one of those houses.
Yes, it's like the same floor plan, same. It's just like reverse of what's across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like the walls are like a pale beige gray color.
All spackly and...
With what? Just boring.
Yeah.
Just flat. There's millions of houses that exist that way, and there are so few of those beautiful old warm homes. Like a true home.
Well, it's because like...
Not like a house, but a home.
Well, yeah, because a home was like crafted, and that was by like an actual tradesman. That's like all he did his entire life. As to now, like you said, cookie cutter. It's like how quickly can we throw up this house so we can move on to the next house? We got to throw up so we can keep stacking this paper. Mm-hmm. Which you can't knock them for doing.
Can't knock them for stacking.
But also
paper.
like the uniqueness and the quality that you're talking about.
And the beauty,
he's lost.
The beauty, it's gone. It's gone. And the fact that these people bought this house, this beautiful old warm house, and then they ruined it, really bothers me. Because they could have just bought an already shit house, and they took a good old house and they made it shit.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. So, like, like I said, I do like the modern homes.
Some of them are very beautiful and
but like usually they have some really cool like centerpieces. Some like you brought something in there, and like yeah, it's kind of bland, but like this ties everything focal point. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like very sleek and modern looking, and there's one of those really big aquariums.
Yeah, you
like
got something that fits the aesthetic and like draws the eye in, and then you kind of like well this is the aquarium room, and then you kind of base the room is that the centerpiece, so it affects the rest of the decorations in the room. Yeah. I don't know how this got into like an artistic decorum discussion, but
I don't know, houses, man. It's just bored. It's a shame. It's a shame. And there's less and less of those every day. Every day some dumb hipster couple with way more money than they've ever needed because they got it from their parents' trust fund. And then they use that trust fund money and they buy a nice house, and they turn that nice house into a boring cookie-cutter house when they could have just bought a boring cookie-cutter house.
Well, those are boring cookie-cutter people.
They are. There's a lot of them.
Fruit toast, dust cracker.
Fruit toast.
Dust cracker, no thought having folks.
Mm-hmm. Empty. Vessels.
Vapid.
Shells.
Hollow. Your turn.
That's pretty good.
All right. Okay.
Books A Million was popping today.
Really?
Another thing. Books A Million was very busy at 11
in COVID times. Oh, well, it's crazy. It's the holidays.
At 11 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Holidays.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in there. And there was... So, Books A Million they have like 2 counters. Because the store's a giant rectangle. And on the short end of the rectangle on both sides, there are sales counters. And then there's like a little coffee shop on the inside. So... where the coffee shop is, that side, that's the checkout counter. And then the other side is like I placed it online order and I'm here to pick it up.
But which side of the store is the barista couch nook, where they have the whatever coffee spot?
That's the Joe Mugs. That's the
Joe Mugs, that's it.
That is where, it's that side that you check out with all your books. And you pay and then you leave and you have to walk all the way back through the store to the entrance, which is on the other side. The customer self-help desk is on the entrance side. So they make you walk all the way through the store to pay for something, which means you have to walk through all of the posters,
merchandise.
And
maybe you'll see something and snag it,
Yeah. And they got me with one today. They got me with one.
You fell for it.
I fell for it. I got my mom a pot holder that says "Recipe for Disaster." And I thought she would think it's funny, so I bought it. Anyway.
Well, that's exactly what it's for, though.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
Yeah. So anyway, there was an old woman standing with a handful of books at the self-help counter where there were no employees. Mm-hmm. As I walked in, and as I left, the same woman was still standing there at the self-help counter with all of her books. And I think that she thought that was the checkout counter and that she was waiting.
Oh, man.
And I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because she kept looking around like, what is going on? But she wasn't that old. She looked like an old woman, but she probably wasn't that old. She was young enough to where she should have been able to use some problem-solving skills and figure it out. What I'm saying, she's one of those empty people. She's one of those people that would buy a cookie-cutter house.
Yeah.
And there was also another guy. There was a dude behind me in line that I think I had gotten there right after him, but he let me go in front of him. And then it was his turn, and some other dude cut in line in between him and the register. And there was a weird, altercation that happened.
Kerfuffle.
And I kind of just, grabbed my 2 bags of books and just boogied.
Man, this week in IT has just been bombarded. Well, people are like, well, I bought this new thing and I don't know how to use it. So I have those folks coming in.
Right, people that are, I don't know, can you tell me what's RAM?
Well, we're talking about these types of people.
Yeah.
People are
empty void.
Yeah, you have
NPCs. They're NPCs.
NPCs, yes.
They're NPCs.
It's you have the internet, right?
Dude, YouTube.
You use the internet to research this device before you bought it? Or did you just get a wild hair up your butt one day and walk into an electronics store and buy.
Be like, you
buy
know
the
what? I
thing.
want a tablet.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need a tablet for? I want one.
Yeah, because I saw it on the telly.
Well, Frank at work has a tablet.
Oh, okay. So you need a tablet.
It goes right back to that childhood playground.
Yeah.
Thinking. Well, John has a red Hot Wheels car.
But look at his folder. It's got Transformers on it.
He's got a holographic sticker.
Oh. Yeah. I mean,
the pack I got only had regular stickers.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Nonsense.
So people buy new devices and like they get over their heads because they're like, oh, this thing is awesome because it's new and shiny, and like whoever sold it to them, they hit those pressure points of, you need this because it's the newest, fastest thing. It's going to be able to handle all the stuff, and they don't explain any of its use.
What it means.
Yeah. Any of its use, and then like they get it home, they turn it on, and they get past the put your name in part, and then they're totally lost. And they'll bring those devices to me. Hey, how much? Like, what do I have to do to get this set up? Or like, well, what are you trying to use it for? Well, I don't really know. You don't really know.
Where are you buying it?
So what? Well, I just thought that it was a good deal. Okay, well, I understand that, but like, so what are you trying to accomplish with it? Well, I mean, I really don't do much online. Okay, well, you got a device that is specifically for online. Like, you can't use
it's made for. So I suggest you get into trading stocks or something.
It's like, well, I don't know. So, like, they'll get to put in your name, try to register the device, or get it online for the first time, and they're totally lost. And so they'll bring it to me, and I'm like, I'm happy to help people set things up. It's fine. It's shallow, pedantic, piddly work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it comes with the price tags. Like, if you want me to help you out, I mean, you're going to pay me for it. That's kind of how it works. Mm-hmm. So I'll pitch it to them.
Yeah, thanks doesn't pay my bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I appreciate thanks. It's great, but also pay me. And I'll explain to them. They're like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want to do that, I'll check it in, and it's like just half an hour, which is $45 plus tax. And they're like, what? Well, I mean, or you're right back in the same boat you were, and you can take the notes and the pointers that I've just given you from talking to you about it and try to figure it out.
Or there's this great resource. It's called YouTube.
Yeah.
Use YouTube.
But also, see, you're missing the point. They don't know how to get that far. They don't know how to get to the internet with the internet device.
Yeah, these are the same kind of people that, like, they check their email and they're like, George, I have a Nigerian cousin who is going to give me $2 million, but he needs me to send him $80 first for processing because it's international. I think it's a scam. No, people don't lie like that.
So,
yeah, those are the same people.
Yeah, absolutely, they're the same people. But they're just not informed. Like I said, setting something like that. But that when I attach a price tag to it, they're like,
they freak out.
They're aghast. I'm like, well, what did you expect? It's like, I am willing to totally do this thing for you and sit here and teach you how to use this device. I'm pretty good at it. It's not that big a deal. But also, you have to you got to buy into it. I'm not just going to do it for you.
Right. It's like complaining about taking an English class, like paying for an English class. Pay for an English class. I speak English. It's like, okay, but you still need to take this English class. You need to learn how to use the English.
Yeah.
It's
like you can go outside and pick up, a knife or a sword and just start hacking at folks.
Mm-hmm.
But
or you can do. I don't know why we pick that to be the example.
Well,
how about you can pick up a wrench, and you can just I'm gonna start fixing stuff. Or you can go to trade school with that wrench, and then realize you need way more tools than just one wrench.
Well, I was gonna use the same kind of metaphor.
Yeah. Violence is cool.
I mean, is violence cool?
Sometimes.
Well, if you play the new Cyberpunk. Game is so okay.
Very
if
good.
You're playing Cyberpunk on
Poverty console.
No. on current gen consoles because there's not
Yes.
enough new gear out there for folks to get their hands on.
And I don't know why. Okay.
So, Cyberpunk is incredibly violent and incredibly adult.
So good.
But if you're playing it on the proper hardware, what it was intended for, the game is a narrative masterpiece. And I've really enjoyed the storytelling in it and the moments where Keanu Reeves' character pops in and like gives those cool asides and like funny jabs or like witty commentary on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great, and they're always unexpected to the point where I'm like, oh, that was cool, like him
Yeah.
just showing up and doing that. But yeah, the trash fire that is CD Projekt Red having to put out all of these issues at once on current gen consoles because the hardware can't play the game because it's not powerful enough to do it.
It was never made to. And I was talking to one of my clients about it the other day because he was saying that he had seen so much bad stuff about it, and I was telling him about my experience with the game and how I've had so far a very good experience with the game. I've had very, very few bugs and glitches. Like one bug that I guess a glitch that I regularly see is sometimes when Johnny, which is Keanu Reeves' character, shows up, he's smoking a cigarette, and sometimes he will gesture and the cigarette will like stay in the air where he had gestured at some point in the animation, and then Keanu's bringing an empty hand back to his face to smoke.
Okay, so yeah, that's something really unique that I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's just weird little stuff like that.
But see, like, so that's a bug, and it's obvious, but it's not like taken away from how awesome the game played or how fun it is.
It's not one of those. It's not a game breaking bug that people have been complaining about where, an NPC doesn't spawn.
Yeah,
that is necessary for a quest, or it's like a door needs to get unlocked. That's necessary for a quest, and the game glitches, and the door never unlocks, and you gotta like load your last save and play the whole quest again to see if it works.
Seeing some of the gameplay on like a base level Xbox
One looks horrible.
Or the PlayStation 4.
It looks horrible.
Dude, it straight up looks like some old school N64 jank.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, wow. And like comparing it to playing it on my PC.
Or my PC.
Or your PC.
Yeah.
It looks like a totally different game.
Even the difference between your PC and mine.
Yeah, is that substantial?
Yeah. I've noticed, but I think you also run all your graphical settings like way higher than I do.
Yeah, I run everything on max.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I'll
run some things on max, and then other things that I'm not as concerned. I'm sure if I had like all the dynamic shadows and stuff turned up all the way, that would be something. But like, just to make it a little bit more visually impressive. But it's not really net. It doesn't take away from the game to not have.
No, and like
stuff.
I said, you're when I see you playing it, it looks
great.
It looks great. But yeah, like watching some of those gameplays on the like I feel like the console is like hemorrhaging and it's about to have a stroke. It just looks really rough.
It's like the maximum amount of work that the console can handle to run Cyberpunk
in its terrible, awful state.
Yeah,
it's so much.
Yeah,
even rendering it the way it is too much for the game.
Yeah, well,
too much for the console.
The client that I was talking to, he was asking me, should I buy it? And I said, well, what are you planning on buying it for? And then he turned the question on me. He said, well, what have you been playing on? So I've been playing on PC. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to spend that kind of money.
Okay.
And I'm like, well,
that sucks.
Yeah.
And I understand that, obviously.
I get, if you don't play video games that much,
then yeah,
then you don't need a crazy high-end gaming PC.
No.
The next-gen console is great. But then you'll buy another...
Get one.
Or, yeah, if you can find one. Or you can buy another next-gen console when the next-gen comes out, and then buy another next-gen console when that one comes out. Or you can just have a PC and then just update the components as you need.
Yeah,
which can also be very costly.
Oh, it definitely is.
Depending on how crazy you want to go. But any a person like you, like someone who builds PCs, you could just go in and ask, like, hey, I want to play Cyberpunk. And I want it to look good. I don't want all the crazy RGB fans. Mm-hmm. I don't want the NZXT cherry red custom tower.
No, you just want the
I
innards.
want it to run. I want it to run.
To get the job done, and I will build it for you. But yeah, like it's always good to have a point of reference like that. So I want to play at max settings and it be kick-ass the whole time. Okay, well you need these components and it's going to cost you this much. It doesn't have to look. You could mount a chain on the ceiling and hang those components on it
long as it runs
in the open air, and it will be amazing and play Cyberpunk. It doesn't have to have.
You'll have to dust it off a lot.
You don't have to have RG barf.
It does make your PC look cooler, though.
It does.
It does.
Listen, dude, it's the same. It's the same
rainbow
thing. Like
box.
car guys, they work on their cars, make them into hot rods, and it's eye candy. It's the same thing for a computer. It's a nerd hot rod. It's all it is.
Yeah.
And like, I love building those things for folks. It's tons of fun, but I also love getting paid for those things because again, that's a huge price tag. The extra pizzazz and color and jazz is coin in my pocket, and it's awesome.
You can have too a PC that doesn't look impressive at all, but has all the processing power in the known universe. That's like a sleeper.
Yeah, man. I love sleeper units. Like the computers that are built into like the weirdest old looking things. You open it up, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It looks like you're staring into the future through the window of the past. It's amazing. Like, I love those sleeper units. Like, it looks like an old school Windows 95 box. And it's
that weird kind of like grayish white.
It looks
plastic.
like an old refrigerator, like in your uncle's garage. Like it's just unassuming, and it's always been there. And you open it up, and it's full of gold. Like you're just like, what?
Whoa.
But yeah, I mean, like those types of things.
Yeah, but Cyberpunk's great. I've had no complaints, other than little tiny bugs like that. And I've played with, I've spoken with some of my clients who have played on current gen consoles, and they have nothing but complaints.
Yeah.
And I said, it's because you're playing a next gen title on 7-year-old hardware.
Yeah.
Of course. Like, what did you expect? It's like, hey, I have this 1991 Honda Civic, and I need to tow this trailer of heavy logs. It's like, it'll work, kind of.
Well,
if you take some of the logs off.
What people are pissed about is the fact that they package the game, like, you go to a store and you buy a game, you're expecting it to play in the thing you bought it for, right? Yeah. Like, if it's prepackaged in a box behind a glass case that has PlayStation or Xbox on it.
It never should have been released.
Nope.
For current gen console. It should have been a next gen console and PC exclusive.
Yep. I mean,
it really should have been. And my sneaking suspicion is that Sony, more than anybody else, approached CD Projekt Red with a fat wad of money, and they said, hey, we need this to run on PS4.
And they're like, well, it's not really supposed to. It's for next gen stuff. And
then Sony opened a briefcase of even more money, and they were like, okay, I guess we'll make it run.
We'll get it to work.
Yeah.
We'll jam it in there. Yeah. And then, meanwhile, consoles are screaming like you said, the 1993 Honda Civic with a freaking fan belt that's about to go. So,
dude,
that's people's consoles right now.
Yeah. There was one guy was saying that he's like, oh yeah, after about 25 minutes of playing, my PS4 sounds like a jet about to take off because all the fans turn on at the maximum speed, trying to pump all the hot air out of the.
I mean, I totally understand everyone's frustration about it.
Yeah,
but
I get
also,
it.
Like, I knew. I was like, well, this game is made for super high-end hardware. It was developed on super high-end hardware. They've been making this game since, 2013? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been forever. And I thought that it was going to be garbage when it came out. I thought it was going to be awful.
Oh, like the hype wasn't going to match it?
Because, that's what so many games have had. It's like the hype problem in movies and TV shows.
Let's dig into this for a second. Yeah.
So there's the hype problem of from whatever director and this developer and this producer who have made, all these people have made 5-star things in their own careers. They're all coming together to collaborate for this new exciting thing that's going to be a 6-star thing. We're going to create a new scale because it's too cool. And then it comes out and it's
wet garbage.
Meh.
Yeah.
It's meh. It's not bad.
But it's also not the thing.
But it's also not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That is what I thought that that Cyberpunk was going to be. I thought Cyberpunk was going to be awful. Or it was going to be meh compared to what it was supposed to be, which would be awful, right?
Yeah.
It's actually very good, and I'm pleasantly surprised. But when I got the game, my expectations were very, very low.
So it's exceeded that and blown you away.
Yeah, I've been very satisfied with it.
Yeah, the game is good, dude.
The,
So, like, to dig into what what you're just talking about. So, like, something that hit that hype, that looked like it was going to be phenomenal, and then just ate a bag of salted dicks.
Yeah.
Was Anthem.
Yes.
So
yes.
So let me set it up. So we, back when they were doing E3 before the world set on fire, and we could like do social things and see awesome stuff and go places and have showcases and all that. They showed this game off. It obviously was a CG trailer, and you have to take those with a grain of salt because they're not always.
They're always so polished.
Yeah. It's like actual gameplay. Really? Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how close it is to actual gameplay when it comes out. But so Anthem, they have this crazy showcase. The game looks phenomenal. It looks like it hits all if you're a gamer and you're into that type of stuff, it hit like all the major tent poles of things you want in a game like that. It's like, well, it's an RPG, role-playing game. You're going to be able to create your character and your narrative, get into the world. It's co-op with your friends. You can create your own custom stuffs and then pal around with your bros. And,
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's cool.
Your brothers.
It's like, the art style is really neat.
The world looks very open, but also lush, and it's got like character to it. What you get to ride around in giant militarized mech suits with cool guns and stuff, and it's an open world. That sounds like it's gonna be fantastic. And the trailer looked boss.
Yes, I was so excited.
It was
for that
the
game
tits. It looked neat.
Yes,
my buddy Josh, aka 5 O'clock Shadow. Shout outs to 5 O'clock Shadow. He and I were like, dude, this game looks amazing. But also, Josh and I have been burned before, so we're like, well, let's just kind of follow it, see how it looks. And sure enough, the game is getting closer and closer to its release, and then it comes out, and what? It is a hollow sack of nonsense.
Yeah.
The game that we played the beta, closed beta, got into it.
The beta was
like janky. There was a couple times where I got stuck, like just on walking around.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, we had to restart the whole thing to even get the game to function. And Josh was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This game had so much potential and it could be so cool, but it feels like it's going to be a wet egg salad sandwich. It's just, it's starting to stink a little bit.
Yeah.
It's starting to show through this bag.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the game came out, nothing. Basically nothing had changed. It turns out the studio, apparently with all that development cash and stuff that their publisher have been pumping them to make the game. I don't know what's going on with game developers and stuff right now. I feel like they're just half-assing everything.
I think here's what I think happens, is that there are a lot of game developers that are very eager and very excited, and they're pushing for cool new stuff, and they're really trying to make big strides.
Yeah,
giant steps. They are large walking.
They are large walking in the digital realm.
And they do a handful of really cool things. They get an idea together, and then that concept gets purchased by a larger, more corporate entity, like a larger publishing.
Because they see the dollar signs.
Because they see the dollars, they see the potential. And then the guys that had all these cool ideas, those ideas get stripped away, and that talent gets stripped away because they had.
And then they put the cogs into place.
And and then on top of that, a lot of these gaming companies and development companies for video games, the leadership changes around a lot, and it never changes at a good time. It never changes at a convenient time.
No.
It changes at the beginning quarter of development of a game, where the creative head or the head of development or the head of I don't know what the term would be. He's not the president of the company, but he's like the guy who's in charge.
The creative director, the creative director of gameplay development. The different faceted parts of building a game and then bringing it all together.
Yeah, that guy's being pressured by his giant corporate entity, and the corporate entity that controls that corporate entity saying, "Hey, you got 14 months. You got 14 months left to make this run. And,
and we want to see
they
progression.
They push that dude, and he snaps in half.
Yeah.
And then another guy comes in who has no fucking idea what's going on.
So he's picking
and then
up,
he has to figure out what that guy was doing and keep everything on track, which doesn't work.
He has to take the reins of the guy who already had this thing going, doesn't know the temperament of his staff or what the creative role was, and then he's trying to jam his way of doing things into what they're already doing, and that just derails all the progress, and they have to like relearn everything again. And then, what about this idea? Well, I think this is dumb. And then like they just strip something out that was like already in place, and then there's a whole really feature, cool. And you can see where those holes are left in the game. It's like, what? This feels like this was like a thing that was like I should be able to do, or like what happened to this? And it's just so you did all this art design for this one awesome looking quest or thing, and then this is where it ends. Mm-hmm. It didn't really make any sense. Like you see that a lot with those types of games, and I just feel like. And it's obvious, going back to Cyberpunk has so much depth to it. The city
all the lore, all the archive.
Has so many nooks and crannies, and it's just dripping with cyber juices. Mm. The game of Cyberpunk, if you can play it on something that can handle it, it is amazing. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the means to do that, just wait until the Game of the Year edition comes out. And it has all the DLC and all of the things work, and it has tons of mods, and it's $30 on the Steam store, and you buy all that stuff, and it works great on your dishwasher.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, don't fall for the trap of buying a next-gen console, but instead, budget some money. And build a nice PC.
Yeah, build yourself.
It doesn't have to be covered in RGB and custom paint and all kinds of crazy cool stuff like that. It just needs to run the games that you love to play. What do you think is a roundabout price for a decent, just spitballing,
for an intro gaming computer
to run Cyberpunk?
To run Cyberpunk,
not on max settings, but to run Cyberpunk better than it would run on a console.
Okay, yeah. I would say anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500.
$1,200 to $1,500. Now, that's more expensive than the new consoles, which are
$500 to $600.
They run to $500 to $600.
Yeah,
could be double.
But so that's the thing. Building a computer like that it's an investment. Mm-hmm. That's how I always explain it to folks, because yes, that's it. Yeah, $1,200, $1,500 is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a car.
Yeah, I mean you could buy a beater for that. Definitely get around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an investment, and for some folks that's a little more chunk of change that you're wanting to throw out at one time, and I totally understand that. But if you're already kind of batting around this idea, you're already kind of walking down this path.
Yeah. Christmas is coming up. You're getting cash for Christmas. Friends.
It's an investment. You're buying a device. Yes, it can play games. Obviously, and if you're a gamer, having a custom PC is the tits.
Yeah.
But it can do all kinds of things. It is a creative powerhouse.
Yeah.
It is a business powerhouse.
You can edit YouTube videos.
Yes. You can do anything on a computer. Especially if it has enough power to do so.
Yeah.
You can do multimedia design. You can do video editing. You can do, you can play games. You can render art.
Playing games is one of the things.
Yeah, it's one of the things. But also you can pay all your bills. You can do investing. You can write a book. You can do all kinds of cool creative things with a computer. And also it's an avenue and a direct highway to the internet that has all the knowledge. You can bookmark YouTube and then learn how to cook this, it's an endless avenue to creating and getting new information to do awesome self-improvement, or you can fuck off.
Yeah, and you can do all those things with your phone too, but you can't run Cyberpunk on your phone.
No, you cannot. If you want to see your phone melt in your hand and become a cyberpunk, try running it on your phone.
Yeah. But yeah, I would recommend a gaming PC. Definitely. There are also a lot of PC exclusive games that are really, really good that you simply would not have access to if playing on console.
Yeah.
Like, Godfall's not PC exclusive, but
Godfall, I think it's on the new next gen console, but only next gen, I do believe.
it's only on next gen consoles. I think it's PlayStation exclusive. I think
PS5 exclusive.
PS5 exclusive and PC. But that means that if you had an Xbox, you're missing out on that game.
That game is fun.
It's very fun.
It's very fun.
I've heard a lot of bad stuff about it, and I don't really get.
You don't get it?
I don't get why they're mad about it. I mean, it's got some grindy MMO elements, but I mean, you kind of expect that.
Don't people like that? Isn't that why those games are popular? Like, isn't that the whole point?
I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
The weird repetition people love.
But like, there's a really good, robust combat system in that game, and like
Visually, it's very impressive.
Yes, it is. It looks beautiful, and the variance of the characters and how they like have unique abilities is neat. And also, like, there's tons of unique gear and weapons and fighting styles in the game, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's fun to play with your friends, and that's the whole point of gaming, is playing with your friends and having a good time, or playing a narrative and having a good time.
Yeah.
Whether you're a single player experience or a multiplayer powerhouse.
It's like a movie, but you're the star.
Yeah.
That's what makes video games fun.
It's like a book that you get to experience with a control.
Right. Going back to hype about video games and stuff that's coming out. Elder Scrolls 6. The newest Elder Scrolls.
See, we've spoken about this before, and you're worried about it.
I'm very worried about it. It's one of my favorite game series.
Yeah, for good reason.
One of my favorite game series. And if you view the pattern from Morrowind to Oblivion, from Oblivion to Skyrim, and then from Skyrim to what the next game is going to be, each game gets more and more streamlined.
You think they're making it too simple?
And they're going to over streamline it, because they streamlined a lot of the RPG stuff out when they made Skyrim.
A lot of the things from Oblivion did not make it to Skyrim.
Yeah. And a lot of things from Oblivion were bad. And instead of phasing them out and smoothing them out, I think they could have been adjusted or changed so that they wouldn't be completely gone. Those features wouldn't be completely gone. But I'm worried that the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be booty. I'm very worried.
I don't think it will be.
I'll still buy it, and I'll still play it. I can't guarantee I'll enjoy it.
Here's no reason why I don't think it will be booty. Although I do understand your concern. So Bethesda, the creators of Elder Scrolls, and also very popular Fallout series of games.
Yeah.
Those are open world RPGs with character development elements. Just games that, like, if you're into that type of stuff, it's right up your alley. Same thing with Cyberpunk. Those same type of game wheelhouse. So like Fallout, you're really into Fallout. It's Elder Scrolls in a post-apocalyptic wasteland with machines instead of fantasy stuff.
Yeah, basically.
So with, again, buying into the hype, people were super jazzed about Fallout 76, the MMO, and that game was, again, wet garbage. And
it was one of the worst video game debacles in history. Like, from the flawed release, from all the bugs, all the glitches, and all the glitches that they had were game-breaking glitches. All of them.
I just felt like the game was a blatant money grab.
Yeah.
And Bethesda took all kinds of flack for it.
Yes, they did. They deserve all of
it. Yeah, they deserve the Fallout for their Fallout.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think because riding the heels of that, and they have had a huge year being purchased by Microsoft. Elder Scrolls may be an exclusive to the Xbox and PC.
I would see that. I would see that. Yawn.
So if it is that way, and given that they have had a piss poor recent release in the recent years, their last big hit was Skyrim, because Fallout 4 was kind of hit. It was very lukewarm.
Yeah, this is gonna get me some hate, but I think Fallout 3 was better than Fallout 4.
Dude, I also agree. And
Fallout 76 was really good.
76?
No, not Fallout 76. Fallout New Vegas
Ah.
Sorry. I haven't had dinner yet.
Yeah, I'm also kind of famished. But, so, well, I mean, we'll wrap this up here in a second. But, getting back to, like, the Fallout from Fallout. I think this game is obviously next gen. We haven't seen anything on it. Microsoft just bought out Bethesda. They need to knock this one out of the park. Visually, this game is going to be bananas. It's going to be so impressive, and it's going to be next gen, and you're going to need new console, new PC stuffs to play it the way you're going to want to play it.
Either way,
yeah.
You're going to need new.
You're going to need the new. And I don't think Elder Scrolls is going to be bad. No. I don't think it will.
No, so I think it's going to go one of two ways because of Microsoft buying Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Either one, Microsoft is going to send in their
goons,
their freshest and finest, best, their sharpest, most excellent, and those guys are going to like take a leading role and lead Bethesda into greatness again.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's not forget that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion won Game of the Year. It won 5-star ratings in like pretty much every
gaming category.
Like every gaming
narrative.
Yeah, like everything. Like
music.
Yeah, the score won a 5-star thing. The visuals were 5-star for 2006.
Yeah.
If you look at it now, it looks like garbage. But in 2006, that was incredible.
It was amazing.
They were doing stuff with graphics and rendering that no one else had done before. They were really...
And the world was so large. I was always like, how do they fit all this onto one disc? When I've played games that come in like 4 discs, like there's a game...
What was that game we used to play that like you'd play through the story mode and it's like insert second disc. You're like, oh, I'm getting into the good stuff now.
Yeah, it was a Legend of Dragoon. And then Final Fantasy VII came on a few discs. There's a few of those, man. And you're like, in those games, now you could put them on your phone. You could literally put those games on your phone and it would run just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How many discs do you think COD Modern Warfare would be now? Because it's so many gigs.
Oh, if
you had
we had to take it back in time, oh my gosh, you'd have to go to Walmart and buy a sleeve of those things.
A sleeve of discs.
Just yeah, man. I don't know why.
It's like Fallout. It's like COD Modern Warfare disc 61 of 80.
You're like,
I lost disc 64. Where is it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's funny though. Yeah, man. Some of those old games were really good. But yeah, it was always impressive to see like this entire world fits on this tiny little disc, and like how do they do that? It's like, well, their algorithms and their system is way better than yours. So,
yeah.
And yeah, like I have high hopes. Again, the hype, buying into the hype. We know basically nothing about the new Elder Scrolls, but I think it's going to be amazing.
I hope and pray.
Well, it's like everything now, going from hype to gripe. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's going to find something, or that's not what I mean. People who constantly seek out that kind of negative stuff are going to find it in whatever they do.
Oh yeah,
in literally whatever they do. If they are looking for, if it's a video game, if it's a movie, they're going to find something to complain about. Because a lot of people just enjoy that. They just love finding stuff that sucks. To them.
And I don't really understand that.
It's because their lives suck and they have no control over their lives. And so they have to just, like, ruin other people's happiness to feel any kind of gratification.
That makes me very sad.
Oh, well, some people suck.
Yeah. And, I guess you just have to accept that fact.
Yeah, some people just suck, dude. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, talks about that. And he says that it's like before you go out into the world, you have to consider that the people that you deal with will be surly and rude and uncooperative and violent and ignorant. And it's not your job to, in other words, play guidance counselor. And it's also not your job to educate them in any way. And it's not your job to be angry at them. You just have to...
You just have to exist to yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you deal with a difficult person, That's what the word he uses, a difficult person. If you're dealing with a difficult person, you have to think, why am I perceiving this person as being difficult? Not why is this difficult, why do I feel that this person is difficult? It's like, well, I know more about the topic that he's talking about than he does. Like, he has knowledge on a topic, and I have knowledge on the same topic, but my knowledge on that topic is much, much greater. And he doesn't realize that he's wrong on that topic. And so now you're like, oh, he's just dumb. Or he's miseducated.
So you've written him off?
Or he's undereducated. And you kind of like write people off like that.
Yeah.
And you don't feel your capacity for being angry at them kind of goes away. Because there's no need to. Because they don't realize that they're being dumb. Right?
I totally understand what you're saying, but at the same time, like, part of me feels that it's a little disheartening just treating someone like that as if it like a breeze is passing. You know, it's just like...
Yeah, no, you can try. You can try to tell, but well... It's like, I know you've said A, B, and C. Well, it's actually...
Now, if you try, and it's the same, it's like, well, God, I can't help you, man.
Yeah,
this is your problem. Literally.
Yeah,
like, this is you.
That's what I'm saying.
Not me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
It's like that. It's one of those things. You realize where my knowledge on a subject is more than his knowledge on a subject. And the other thing, too, is when you do talk to somebody, don't be afraid of being wrong. That's something Marcus Aurelius talks about too. He said, if I am wrong, please tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm on the journey of finding the truth, and I don't want to be wrong any more than I have to be.
You need to be course corrected, because how are you going to grow, or like know that you're being? Oh, well, hell, why was I thinking that way?
Yeah.
You didn't have anything like bounce.
Or I didn't know.
Yeah.
A, B, and C doesn't make sense. Or no, D, E, and F don't make sense until A, B, and C.
Exactly.
But you have D, E, and F, and you know that. And you work with that, and then someone's like, well, it's not just D, E, F, it's A, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, whole worldview changes, and I gotta go.
I gotta reassess my life.
Reassess my thing. But when people are telling you it's D, E, F, and all it is D, E, F, there is nothing else except D, E, F. They're like, well, it's A, B, C, D, E, F. That's a myth. That's made up. You made that up just now. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, man.
And that's when you just let the breeze pass.
Cool. And you just let that pass. And you're like, it'd be $5.83. Cash your card. You just let that person go.
Oh man, cookie cutter folks, NPCs,
man, they're everywhere. Every now and again, you witness two NPCs talking to one another.
Man, is that a time?
That's a weird
people watching. Oh my gosh, that's like the best.
Yes, it is.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's how shallow your existence is. Like, I know the conversations you and I get in can get very weird and abstract, and they just get squirrely and out there. But also, we'll talk about like the most humdrum, boring, dumb things too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
that's why I started a podcast.
yeah. I just like the things that people will actually like get into. It's like, did you see The Bachelor? And I'm like,
it's like The Bachelor. We're talking about The Bachelor.
No.
First, you watch The Bachelor.
You have a television?
You don't, yeah.
These are the folks that have to teach people about the internet.
Now, that's not to say that I don't watch dumb stuff that I probably could be doing something else with that time.
Oh, yeah. Same. Absolutely.
I watch so much weird stuff on YouTube. One of them that I've been watching a lot recently. Actually, there's two things I've been watching a lot recently. One is Big Stack D. He's an Australian guy.
Oh, man. Whoa.
That melts. Yeah.
Glad you saved that. I thought it was going to take a weird turn.
No. Big Stack D. Big Stack D who collects scrap metal and then cleans it and then melts it down. And then he makes bars of metal. And the process is just very fun to watch because he'll start with like a motor and then he'll break the motor apart, like the aluminum casing.
That sounds like one of those really soothing things.
For me,
to
it
watch.
is.
Okay,
For me, it is.
I get that. I understand that.
I like that. I like watching that at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
It gets relaxed. And there's no words. It's just him cutting apart metal.
It's just a method.
And then, yeah, and then He's got this crazy forge thing. And getting close to the end of my recording time.
That's cool. I got it running.
Cool. But there's that. I love watching like streamers and stuff on YouTube, and like dank meme compilations. But the other thing that I've been watching a lot that's not Big Stack D is Chas. And Chas has been taking spooky stories from 4chan's paranormal board and Fit board and random board and whatever other boards, and turning them into robot text-to-speech scary stories on YouTube, and it's fabulous.
Yeah, and like the ones that you've gotten me into has gotten me further into the chilling tale and spooky story game. Yeah, and I've always vibed out on all that type of stuff because it's fun to like sit in the creepy and like ride along with it. It's just a cool time. But yeah, those stories, and I feel like the robot voice with like the creepy, it sells it.
It helps add to the anonymity.
Yeah, it definitely helps sell it. But yeah, man, like YouTube is our television.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just replaced the old school, like having to sit. I mean, like there's commercials, but you can skip them or put an ad blocker in, which is cool.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's definitely not the same. It's not the same at all.
Another reason to get PC ad blocker, man. Can't run ad blocker on your phone that I know of.
But like it's weird, like being in a place or like you're at a relative's house and they have a television and it's on for a while, where you're like close by, and you're like, "Whoa, there's so much crazy things on television, like ad wise." You're like, I didn't realize how.
Yeah, I remember being at I think I was at my mom's house, and like they have a regular TV, and I was seeing so many commercials. I forget like how many commercials there are.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You're like,
a show.
Good God.
And like I used to watch this all the time and just ignore all these.
Didn't bother you at all.
Yeah, and now it's like I'm amazed at how aggressively I'm being advertised to.
It's abhorrent, dude.
Yeah.
It's abrasive. You're like, wow, okay, this is a lot. But I guess we're just used to like all the content.
Yeah.
Got it right out the tap.
Yeah.
I suppose filtered through the television.
Straight.
I just had a weird, goofy thought. It's like, animals have gone extinct for good reason. Let's go way back, like dinosaurs. Like Jurassic Park. The reason I brought this up because there's a VR game that came out that's like you can go into Jurassic Park, but apparently it's like really cool. I haven't looked into it. It's just something that came up today in one of my feeds, and I was like, oh, I have a VR. I'll check it out. So, like if it's super immersive, like go into that world and like interact with like a creature that's see it in its actual size, like based on its skeleton and stuff. I think that would be a neat experience because I'm a bipedal hominid, and like to see a giant lizard in its actual form, the way it would have been represented, I think that would be like scary and jarring.
They're very cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be neat, but also, it's like I think it'd be kind of cool to like re-engineer a dinosaur and have it as a pet. You could have.
How much money would you be spending on meat?
Oh my gosh, dude. So much.
Well, I wouldn't have a predator as a pet. That sounds stupid. Sounds so dangerous. That sounds like you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night getting bitten, like it's got your leg and it's shaking you around on the.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because I mean, it's a freaking lizard, man. It's gonna eat you. But at the same time, like Pokemon style would be kind of cool. You could have like an inner city urban lizard. What if it gets like an Instagram career as a cute animal, or it becomes, I don't know. Yeah, it becomes like a stable, or it has a music career. It becomes a velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
All right.
All right, that's it. That's it. We're done.
We found it.
We found it. That's the end of the show.
That's it. That's the rare drop. We're about to drop it.
Drop it like it's hot. Your groan is the last thing I got.